Hello! It is Friday, at least I think it's Friday, right? Friday? Yeah, Friday, May 31st, last day of May in 2019, and, yeah, I'm doing fine. The plan for today is to wrap up some loose ends in some of my open pull requests, and then who knows what we'll go from there. But the plan is to start with working on talks first. I hacked on this pull request last time, but didn't quite finish it. I got it working, but didn't write tests, or I wrote some tests, but not enough to like be good enough to move forward. And I don't know, this shouldn't take too long, but I'll demo it and what my goal with it is. Let's see, what did I do? What else did I do last time? Was this last time or was it the time before? I don't remember. I think this was 2 times ago, which is rewriting if Python 2 blocks. So this is what I'll do if I get through the first thing quickly. Let's go over what I did while I was offline before. It looks like a lot of CPython stuff, but it actually wasn't all related to that. Let's see. 3 days ago. Because I streamed 4 days ago, right? On Monday? Hey, what's up, Toddy? How's your Friday going? Been trolling me all day in the Discord. It was pretty funny when you sent that text to speech. I was sitting in a meeting and I forgot to mute my volume on my laptop. And then it was just like, I forget what you said. It was like testing or something like that. Everyone's like, what is wrong with your laptop? But it was fine. People were like, laughed it off. But I was like, alright, maybe maybe we'll turn off text-to-speech on Discord. But yeah, stuff I did. So some stuff I did while I was offline. I fixed some typos. I was reading through the changelog and I found some like minor grammar and like fixed those up. I found this bug in talks where if you oh, it must have got released already. That's an old version. Upgrade that. So I maintain a virtual environment inside my home directory where I install all of my tools, including talks. And in 3.9 we changed how, well, I say we, but Gabber really changed how the argument parsing works there. Hey, what's up, Juan? How's your Friday going? While this is going, I got a donation while I was offline, so I'm gonna replay that notification. Thank you, Germolenko, for the donation. To the master of glorious hacks. Oh boy. Hey, what's up, B? Let's see if I can read now. Unless he already fixed. Yeah, he didn't release the bug fix yet. But there's this minor little bug here where unrecognized arguments were just printing out %s, and that's because we switched from argparse to, or from optparse to argparse, and so I need 2 character fix there. I'm great. How are you? I'm doing fine. It was an incredibly long week at work, despite having Monday off. It was just, it was incredible. It was very, very busy. I'm working on a project where I'm porting a bunch of services from Python 2 to Python 3, and the current phase I'm in is like just trying a bunch of services and seeing how much work it is to make them happen. And I'm basically juggling conversations with 4 teams at the same time and like making sure that they know what I'm doing and I know what they're doing and that we can coordinate on stuff and make sure it doesn't break the website and all that shenanigans. And like it's a lot of context switching and it's a lot of like stressing about things not breaking. I'm wrong, I do not know how to design the app that I have to deliver to school. I don't know if Make it fast, such that it's not ugly, but to touch it later, or to work hard and deliver it pretty. I mean, it's up to you, man. Like, if the requirements only require something functional, I would just do it quick and like make it work well enough. If it's something that you want to keep working on, like obviously put more effort into it and polish it and go from there. Just throw lib 2 to 3 over them. Oh, trust me, we're doing a lot of automated rewriting. So we're using Python Modernize for part of it, which is based on lib 2 to 3. Unfortunately, I keep finding bugs in it. Well, these are just the ones I've reported, I guess. But these were like particularly bad ones. So this one, if you have code like this where list is on a different line, it'll add another level of list in here. And then I was working with black, and this line was much longer than this short example. And so black would notice that this got 5 characters longer and stick a comma here and put it on a new line. And so if I ran black and modernize in a loop, it would just make this like triangle of list calls, which was pretty funny. But it's kind of a mess. But I don't know, I just worked around it by assigning this in one line and then calling list in the next line, and it was okay with that. This one was really bad. If you from imported max int, it would change the from import but not rewrite the reference, and so it was just like it would just like make name errors, and fortunately Flake 8 would catch this, but it was pretty messy. This was by far the worst one, because this one just silently changed the behavior. This one, at least I could catch it with a linter, and the one I closed, you could catch it with a linter. But this one, I did not catch it with a linter. I got super lucky that I noticed it in code review. But for whatever reason, raise with a parenthesis, even though raise isn't a function, so like this should already be flagged by a linter, but Pycode style hasn't implemented a check for that yet. There is an open issue. I did make an issue for this on that project. But yeah, modernize or lib 2 to 3 would just remove this parameter, which is super great. But that was a mess. So that's part of how we're doing our Python 3 migration. We're also using some of the features of PyUpgrade to do this. So PyUpgrade has a few rewrites that make things better, particularly the invalid escape sequences, which we've hit a couple of times. This one is big, because for whatever reason we have a lot of Unicode raw literals, and so this rewrite has been good. I think Modernize also does this rewrite, but PyUpgrade does it too. Modernize, for whatever reason, doesn't do this one, but it will do this one. I don't know what the deal is there, but at least PyUpgrade does this nicely. Yeah, that's another tool that we're using for our upgrade, and we're also using Pylint in the i3k mode. Your string, my string. Yeah, the sad thing that, what was it? Was it that it doesn't allow French strings? Oh, it does allow French strings, but it doesn't allow Q strings. What was the other one? Oh, we were gonna try Russian strings. Russian strings don't work in Python 3 or Python 2, if I remember right. Yeah, RU doesn't work, but UR does, because who needs consistency? But yeah, you can have French strings, but not Russian or FU strings. But yeah, so the other thing we're using is the Py3k mode of Pylint, which I don't remember the code is for it, but it checks a bunch of Python 3 specific stuff. And that's our basics, and then from there we're taking our repositories, and in the migration phase they build a Python 2 and a Python 3 virtual env. We run the tests in both of them. until they pass in both of them, and then roll that out to each environment and like have a section about it. Can't combine with you. The U prefix was added. Oh yeah. Because Python 2.7 will never support F strings. There's nothing to be gained by combining the F prefix with the U prefix. Aha! You say that, but never supports F strings. They don't know about the terrible hacky shit that I wrote. That's not how you spell pi. What is it? Coding future underscore F strings? I can never remember. Oh, I forget if... I'm pretty sure I made FU work. We'll see. I can't remember whether I did this or not. I think I did. But maybe not. Let's see. Yeah. So I made FU strings work. So take that, Pep. Look at me. But yeah, glorious hacks again. As Germolenko says, to the master of glorious hacks. Need the old encoding rot 13. Oh yeah, that was some messed up stuff. How does that? I can only remember how to do it by codex dot decode I don't think you can do this anymore in Python 3. But I think this code works fine. Python 2. Oh, what? That's not what I expected. Oh, because it assumes this is a rot 13 encoded byte string, maybe? Well, now I just have no idea. Oh, I have to rot 13 to you. So that'd be an H string. Okay. So if you make it a Unicode string, oh right, because in Python 2, if you have a string literal and a coding, then it assumes that this is a byte string encoded with this encoding, so it doesn't decode it. Use rot26. Does Python 2 have a rot26? These are all of the encodings that we can use. Oh, could you make something base64 encoded? Seems like it wouldn't work. Oh, there's only rot13. Oh, there's a Punicode encoding. They finally added it. We had like a backported hacky version of Punicode that we used at Yelp. You know the programming language Shakespeare? It is literally programming with his works. I have seen some code in Shakespeare, but it's mostly a joke. Doesn't it compile to Python? I forget. No. Yeah, I've seen some Shakespeare, but haven't written any because the joke. But yeah, so we use Pilot to check stuff, and then we gradually roll it out to prod and hope things don't break. I've rolled out, I think, 7 services to prod from Python 2 to Python 3, and we have 110 more to go. But that's just in like 2 weeks of work, so it's not so bad. I mean, 2 weeks of actually trying to roll them out. We've been spending the last like couple of months like using free time to roll out linters and formatters. But some of them are going to be really hard because we have some code bases that are like hundreds of thousands of lines of code and no tests, and they like, don't want us to add linters to them, which I don't understand. But I don't know, that's kind of annoying. But yeah, that's what I'm doing at work. I'll write a Shakespeare interpreter. Oh, they already implemented it in Python. Shakespeare Lang, yeah, 100%. Oops. 100% Python. Yeah, this is why I was like, I'm pretty sure it compiles Python, but no, it's just that the interpreter is written in Python. Maintainability D. Estimated time to resolve technical debt issues. What does that mean? Food smells 18. Function has a cognitive complexity of 40. Blah, blah, blah. I don't think those are actionable. Avoid too many return statements. Code climate is kind of annoying. I don't really like it. That's what this one is, right? Code climate? Yeah. Pip install Shakespeare Lang. Or however else you install things. You do you. Probably somebody who's like, can you add conda to this list? Or like... No. Made up statistic. Oh yeah, code climate? Yeah. Yeah, some other stuff that I did while offline. This patch got merged, which is pretty cool. The typing module was missing a bunch of things in double under all, and so I wrote a test that makes sure that they're all there. I mostly found all these while working on a Flake8 plugin. What is that Flake8 plugin called? Flake8... is it typing imports? I like went back and forth on naming a bunch of times. Okay, good, I guess the right one. But for typing imports, I basically needed to look when each symbol got introduced, and turns out that the module has changed a lot in patch versions, which is pretty shitty, but what are you gonna do? But here's where I like grabbed all of the data for every thing that's in the typing module at each version, and have it stored in a bunch of frozen sets. But Tati, why do you... Doesn't that mean the little mouth is very large? I'm pretty sure that's what that means. I'm gonna translate it before I say it for you. It's a meme from Argentina. I mean, I was close. Boquita es más grande. There, I said your meme for you. Now you can clip it and send it to all your friends. Have fun. Get me to say weird shit on stream. But yeah, I made this happen and then backported it to 3.7. I also... this is a rabbit hole. So, import the metadata is what I've talked about it a bunch, but it's what I'm using in Pluggy to speed up PyTest, and hopefully I'll be able to release that soon. We might go through that and like get the release ready so I can do it tomorrow morning. But we found this weird bug with import-lib metadata, particularly on Windows, and particularly when you install this weird package. And this package has this kind of insane setup.py. And this setup.py like manually builds... Where is it? Egg info. Okay, here. Yeah, it like manually builds this egg info directory. I guess I can just show you what happens. It's pretty nuts. if I pip install Pigman's Markdown, what was it called? Pigman's Markdown Lexer. And then I look inside my virtual env, it installed this egg info directory, which is like, basically if I were to sudo pip install this, it would install that egg info directory into the USR directory, into the user directory, which is just like, why? Why would you do that? But it turns out the presence of this egg info directory causes import lib metadata only on Windows, because on Windows, for some reason, I'll show you that too. Let's see, git bash. This was just like a rabbit hole of bugs. Hey, what's up, Vertonism? Oh, Vertonism. Vertonis man. Oh my goodness. Anyway, thanks for the follow, friend. Every follow counts. I am Boquita es más grande. Nice. Boca is a soccer team in Argentina. If you want to look for it, in Argentina there are people who exaggerate too much in football, and they came up with the meme. Nice. Oh wait, what? Why did that work? Python 3 isn't a thing. Oh. Clever past me aliased it. But a weird thing about Python on Windows is normally the syspath entries don't contain the site prefix. So sys.prefix is weirdly inside sys.path. So if you actually import lib.os, this actually imports the same as OS. For weird reasons. In fact, I think you can import underscore or lowercase lib.os. Oh no, you can't. Weird. Anyway, but because of this odd sys.path entry, you can import in the strange way. But anyway, that's not the problem. But on Windows, this egg info gets put directly into this directory. And so it just like causes all sorts of problems. But anyway, import lib metadata tries to parse this directory and then was exploding with a permission denied error or permission error. And I was able to reproduce it on POSIX by setting a Python path that makes no sense and getting a completely different error. And so I created a bug in Python about that weird sys.path entry, which, like, whatever they're doing. They're doing that, so they're gonna fix that. Where was I? I was here. And then I made a patch to import lib metadata to fix the sys.path lookup. And then since import lib metadata is making its way into Python 3.8, I also had to make a patch to Python 3.8 to fix it. But then, while making the patch to Python 3.8, I found out that my patch didn't work on Windows, so I had to fix it here, and then re-backport this patch to import lib metadata. But anyway, it was a rabbit hole of fixing things. Let's see. Argentinians taking control of my stream. Nice. Oh, you saw that issue on BPO. Cool. Yeah. I wasn't really sure about that. Playing with the GNU handler of the bot. Please? It's GNU/Windows. Python on Windows is crazy. Windows almost never processes the Python path, at least in my case. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, I think Python path is kind of going down a rabbit hole. Sorry I clipped Boquita es más grande. I mean, it's alright, bud. I've said it 3 times now, so you can pick your best one. Oh, you've clipped 3 times, so I'm perpetuating your memes. I'm okay with that. I'm okay making your memes be memes. But yeah, other than that, The only other thing is Azure Pipelines added support for Rust on Windows. Unfortunately, it's like slightly broken, but I was able to delete this from my CI jobs, which actually speeds them up by like 4 or 5 minutes, because it turns out installing Rust on Windows is pretty slow. It takes like 33 seconds on Linux, but forever on Windows. But I found a bug from that, so I opened an issue that was like, hey, if you run cargo install without much environment, it complains about no toolchain, but normally Rust is okay with that. So we're looking into that. The other thing that I found was Python is now misconfigured on Azure Pipelines, such that it can no longer find itself. Like, install Python 3.7 and then try and use Python 3.7, and it's like, no Python 3.7 for you. Can I omit the README from the package? You mean include it or leave it out? So yeah, you can leave a README out. If you're using declarative metadata, well, whether or not you're using declarative metadata, you can set your long description to your string that would be your README, and then you don't need a README file. You can also set this in setup.py if you're not using declarative metadata, but I see no reason to use setup.py anymore, so just me. I also found that this will affect talks if you install Python in a specific order, which is kind of unfortunate. Setup.py cannot upload stuff to PyPI anymore. I think that's actually good, because it used to just do it over plain text. And Twine is kind of better at it in every way. But yeah, setup.py upload used to just send your password in plain text, which is super awesome. So if you've ever used setup.py upload, I would suggest changing your password. Yeah. That's all the stuff I did offline. The thing that I want to work on today, cool, it's only been 30 minutes. Oh hey, I just passed 420 followers. Great. GG me, I guess. But yeah, the thing I want to work on today is finishing up this --devenv branch, which I don't even know if I have things cloned. Let's see. I have a patch here. Oh, that was my devenv patch because I wasn't sure about how it was going to work. Oh, that's not what I want. So that probably means I have this branch checked out. But... oh, forced update. Sorry, I didn't prep this very well before the stream. Usually I go through and I clean up all my repositories and make sure that things work well and like have at least the repos that I want to work on cloned. But I was actually checking out another stream before I started streaming. They were working on some leak code stuff and I was giving them, I was trolling them and helping them, but maybe not the best help. But they were figuring it out, so it wasn't really a big deal. Cool, so the thing that I was building last time was basically something that I could do this, where I can call talks with a specific Python environment, so in this case like the Python 2 environment, and I can specify devenv, which will force it to make a virtual environment named this. And then if we look over here, it actually created this venv-py27, and so then if I wanted to work on that, I could just activate it and it has all of the test dependencies installed, and it has where's the editable install? It said that it editable installed, but I don't see it. Oh, it's there. I'm not sure why it's not showing the editable install. Pip, what are you doing? Probably bugging Pip, whatever. Let's see. I didn't know it existed until yesterday. I saw a tweet about how bad it is. Oh, I see. New panels. You mean in my description? Oh, you mean like Talk to Me Gooseman has created some new panels. Yeah. I changed my panels, what was it, a couple weeks ago? They look alright. I did some very minor graphic design to like grab some icons and stick them in here, and I don't know, they look alright. The reflow is kind of annoying, and I still haven't built this out, but one day I will have videos that explain why I use a VM and why promise I'm not a noob. But until then, well, until that day, or until then, it's just gonna say to do. Would you say that Vim is better than Nano in some things? I definitely think Vim is better than Nano in pretty much every way. Yeah, pretty much every way Vim is better than Nano. I do know how to use Vim, I'm just not very good at it. And I'm really good at Nano, so I'm gonna stick to that until I don't know, until I need to switch. You have a YouTube channel? Yes, I do. My YouTube channel is youtube.com/AnthonyWritesCode. For the most part, all of the recent content on there is just replays of streams. So if you ever like miss part of the stream or want to watch old streams, you can go there, and they're all there. Well, they're all there from, when did I start? January 30th was the first stream that I put up, although I had actually been streaming since like last October or something. But forgot to upload those. And then there's some older content, which is like either tutorial style content or me just being like, what the fuck, why is this doing stuff in a strange way? Like this false equals false in false is a pretty good one. Is my keyboard a gamer keyboard? No. I have a cheap Logitech keyboard. It is the K120. Basically the cheapest keyboard I can get. Because, I don't know, I like the layout, and it has the right like tactile that I appreciate. And I break keyboards, so it's cheap, so I can just get another one. And I don't feel bad like buying one or two for home and one or two for work, and dealing with that. But yeah, anyway, so this devenv feature works, but I want to improve it so that it's shippable, and there are basically a couple things that we want to make it improved with. One of them is to get rid of this make devenv function, which I agree. Great suggestion. It also simplifies a lot of things. The other is to add some more tests, and I feel like there's one other thing that I don't remember. Some other people were like, this seems like not the best idea, but I'm gonna make it happen anyway. Oh, I have to write docs, of course. Most boring part of this. Right, so the first step is to take this function and move this code. I need to find the configuration parsing code again and handle that. I'm kinda awake for 20 hours, so I gotta go to sleep. But yeah, I mean, don't stay up for me, bud. The YouTube videos will always be there. And thank you for stopping by and chatting. And yeah, get some sleep, man. I don't want to keep you up. Let's see. So I need to figure out where the configuration parsing actually happens. Here's where the configuration file gets parsed. We need to get before that, I think. First, I think this is where we need things to happen. I don't know where I was supposed to put this. Let's see. Let's move all this to the end of the configuration in the config module. End of the configuration in the config module, and let the current mechanism create the environment. That way, we don't need a separate execution target, and things will fail and show correctly with show config. So where in this module? Maybe in this giant function, this first ini function, which does all this stuff. Yeah, it seems like there's some like modification here. So maybe I put it here. The INI parser. This is the string replacer. argv reader. argv list reader. I think the best candidate is probably this this mega method here, this parse ini thing. I don't know though. Seems like not the right place. This at least reads through. This is unrelated to the config, so maybe this is the right place. Well, let's just put it at the bottom and see what happens there. Source talks session double internets. Okay, so this is where I added my option here, but we can just get rid of that. And set this. If self.config.option.devenv, then we set this. If self.config.option.devenv and this. Actually, it would just be self.option. Think, or maybe config. Hopefully this is what he meant, because I don't actually know. Make sure the code still works. Config has no attribute config. Right. Where? Oh, I have config.config. Yes, indeed. Hey, what's up, Coding Katie? How's your, what is today? Friday? How's your Friday going? Coding Katie. A good name. Okay, well, I wasn't even paying attention. Did this work? Looks like it worked. And we made that virtualenv, and it's the right Python version. Hopefully, yeah? Cool. Okay. So, we did this. Oh, and I wonder what show config does in this situation. So that was one of the points. Show config. Yeah, that does what we want. So it shows this envdir that we modified. And it should show that useDevelop is true also. And what else did we set? No test? Is that in here? I don't think that ends up in here. I wish these were sorted. This is just like completely arbitrary order. Although maybe it's the definition order, so maybe that's fine. I don't know. Not my problem here. My Friday's doing good. I'm just chilling and stream hopping. That's always fun. Glad you decided to unlurk and say hi. So that's always good. What sort of streams are you hopping around to? I mean, obviously coding if you shut up here. What other ones have you checked out? A lot of people are streaming right now, which is kind of cool. My followers are, or people that I follow are all mostly streaming. User335 is working on a game. He's working on a real-time strategy game with like demons and stuff. It's really cool. But he's doing like all of the modeling and art and stuff. Coding and cute guys. Oh, yikes. I don't know how you ended up here then. And Dalright works on security stuff. Snare Chops looks like he's back working on his Twitch bot, which is cool. And I don't, admittedly, I don't follow the other streamers all that much, but they're working on good stuff. Cool. So we solved this first part of this pull request, which is I already clicked resolve. Didn't actually resolve it, but clicked resolve. And the second part of this test is, or part of this patch, is to write some tests. So, lol, you cute, thanks. Test. What test did I modify last time? And a coder. For the term programmer, please? No. Test devenv does not allow multiple environments. So I'm basically just going to set up a project as before, but instead of testing the success, we're going to test the failure of multiple environment lists. Copy and paste some of this. I think we just need, I think we can get away with an empty file here. Zooey Mama, I'm not sure what that means. A bit out of the loop. Last time I asked about why Nano, now I guess I gotta ask about the VM. Okay, I guess that's fair. So I use a virtual machine because I mostly, well, I grew up using Windows, and so I'm very familiar with how the ecosystem works, and like I like all the keyboard extensions. what they call keyboard shortcuts, and I don't know. I'm familiar with Windows, and so I stick with it. But the bigger reason is I play a lot. Well, used to play a lot of video games. I guess I don't really all that much anymore. But when I want to play video games, it's much easier to just do it on Windows than it is on Linux or Mac OS. I really don't like Macs, so I definitely... This GIF makes me laugh every time. I really don't like working on Macs, and so I definitely wouldn't go with Mac OS. But the other reason is I have a tendency to break Linux machines a lot, either from like installing my own software or like messing with system packages, or I don't know, various like things that break Linux environments. And so with a virtual machine, it's easy for me to just start over from scratch. And in fact, I've completely automated all of my setup process. What is that? Personal Puppet. So I have basically this Puppet repository that installs all the packages that I need. I've gotten it down to like put an SSH key on the box, install git, clone a repository, and run this run Puppet script, and it sets up my entire environment and deletes all the stuff that I don't need. Basically gets me there. But hopefully that answers that. I do run Linux directly on hardware on a couple of my machines. So I have a computer in my living room that powers my like media server and allows me to watch movies on my movies and YouTube on my TV in my living room, and I also dual boot Linux on my work machine. Wow, your GitHub contribution graph is unreal. Yeah, I spend probably too much time on GitHub. To the point where like, well, GitHub barely loads anymore, and about half the time I load my user page, I get a unicorn. Let's see if it loads this time. And these are just the public contributions. If you look at my private, yeah, see? Too much of a power user, it doesn't even load, but usually it'll load the second time. Famous last words. Come on, GitHub. Get your shit together, I want to show my green squares. Twice in a row? Come on. Maybe GitHub is actually down. No, we saw it load here. Yeah, here we go. This includes my private accounts, which it shouldn't because I have it configured not to show the private accounts. But anyway, yeah, I've see if we look at just public contributions, it's like 5,000 here, which is still a big number. Some of those are automated, like these dark squares I did some automation, but if you subtract like 500 from this, like 4,900 is still a pretty big number. But yeah, that's me doing lots of GitHub. Pre-commit is my second most visited page on the new tab screen. Oh yeah, because I only use Chrome when I stream. Most of my actual browsing is done in Firefox, but I use Chrome during streaming because it allows me to have two different boxes where I do stuff. Also, like time completion or whatever. Yeah, so yeah, and pre-commit is my second most viewed because it's my baby, it's my project. I built this thing. It's mine. I did it. But yeah, this is kind of my baby project, which is like my favorite thing to work on, and like the stuff that the project I put the most time into. And if you want the TLDR, it's a on the tin it's a GitHooks framework, but it's a little bit more than that. It's more of a like multiple programming language installer and executable runner. So it understands a bunch of different programming languages and how to install projects from them, and then how to run those against Git repositories. and it also knows how to do git hooks and stuff. But I think the git hooks part is where people like, they're like, oh, git hooks, fuck that noise, git hooks suck, and then they stop looking at the project. But it's way more than that. But yeah, that's why it's my second most viewed. It's also like my top contribution project on my list, on the short list here, even more so than the stuff that I do at work. But I also am a maintainer of PyTest and a maintainer of Talks and Flightgate and a bunch of other stuff like that. And so I spend a bunch of time on those projects as well. And in fact, what I'm doing right now is working on Talks. But yeah, so what I wanted to work on here, I do actually need to make this a thing because I need to have an env list. So if I have more than one env list, devenv should be a crash. It'd be great if I could spell results. I don't know what that crash looks like other than running it over here. Talks devenv vm-e pi27 pi36 or something like that. It'd be great if I could spell. Yeah, code search is easier on Google. Yeah. Also, like, if I only do programming stuff here, it's easy for me to just, like, if I type G, I'm gonna get GitHub. Whereas, like, if I type G on my Firefox instance, I get Gmail, and then Google Spreadsheets, and then, oh, this one's funny, though. I guess I at least get this one. This one's programming related. The anti-if campaign, which is my favorite thing to shit on stream. It's this guy's like dead serious campaign against if statements, and that you should never write logic in code and dangerous ifs, and all of his rationality is like terribly indented code, and it's a very professional website. It's very well put together, but it's just like kind of batshit. And also like this example here where it's like, look at how bad this code is. Well, yeah, no shit. If you comment out else statements and like comment out curly braces and like don't indent properly, yeah, of course your code's gonna look bad. But at least that part of tab completion is kind of nice. But yeah. But yeah, how's your Friday going, Essential? Spelled in a interesting way. Oh, this is kind of crappy. Do all Talks errors show up like that? What other errors do we have? Raise, validation, assertion, config error. See if this other config error shows up in the same way. Config error. Install command must contain the package's substitution. Install command equals no. Okay, we get the same crash there. Let's see if we have any other raises. That one's exit. Feedback. Maybe I should just be calling feedback. That seems better than raising. Just trying to learn Python/computer science in general. Nice. I don't know that you'll get that out of here, but I sometimes show it useful stuff and like learnable things. Not always though. So no promises on actually being helpful towards learning. Oh, I need to undo that. Install command. Oh, what? Oh. I kind of expected it to just exit there and not continue doing stuff. Isn't that what this thing does? Oh, sysexit equals true. Sysexit. And because I did venv here, it blew away my virtual env, probably. So I need to remake this. Just the way things go, I guess. Alright, so this should error and produce just a very small message. Okay, cool. Error devenv requires only a single dash E. Use breakpoint, because breakpoint is awesome. But I'm using an old version of Python which doesn't have breakpoint as a built-in, so I have to install future breakpoint to backport that. And future breakpoint is a clever hack that I wrote, but it's super convenient for debugging, so I like it. But yeah, pytest tests -k devenv. Install all of our test libraries here so that we can make sure that things are actually working. Okay. 3 tests selected. Did I actually write 3 tests? I did. Okay. I don't know what the third test is, but we'll find out eventually. Okay, so we should get results.ret is 1, or results.assert failure? Assert fail. Okay. Dang it, I thought I had to sneeze, so I was gonna mute myself and then sneeze, but then it didn't happen. It's the most frustrating, like, sneeze in the world. Results.error. Error devenv requires only a single dash E. Single dash E. I wonder if that error is normalized, not have \r on Windows. I remember when I met you that I was bored and searched on Twitch channels with computer tags and you went out. Nice. Or when you first found the channel, I guess. You randomly landed on mine, and everything else was history. Let's see. Do any of these actually show the new line? Okay, this one has the \n, so that means it's probably good. And that test passed, but there weren't any assertions of these, so we can see what it's, which tests are actually running. Test all RST any blocks parse. Development environment. Talks can be used for just preparing different virtual environments required by a project. Weird, this is almost exactly what the feature that I'm making is. Hey, what's up, Shoddy? How's your Friday going? Shoddy and I are friends from way back in the day. I still remember the day that we met. It was the first day of high school for me, and I had just moved from a different school, and I think it was the second class of the day, was Honors English Language Arts 9, and at the beginning of class, I walked up to David and I was like, "Hi, I'm gonna be your friend," and that was it. And I guess it worked because I'm still talking with you today. So thanks for being there for me, David. Silly me, but new follower here. Hello, hey, what's up, Hello 80. Are you named after the Minecraft mod? Or is there another out of nothing? Oh, okay. There's a Minecraft mod called this as well, which is what I remember it from. Going just swell. What are you accomplishing in this code? So there's this tool called Tox, and normally what Tox is used for is running. So for instance, you can do tox-e fix lint. It's used for running some like test procedures and stuff. Hey, what's up, Hello 80? Thank you for the follow. Every follow counts. And so normally it's used for like running tests, but sometimes it's good to be able to debug tests. And so what I'm working on today is a way to so let's say this fixlint is running the fixlint tests, which are running my tool actually, and look, it's me. But what you might want to do is debug that test session in a separate environment, and so you could do tox-e fixlint, and then the thing that I'm adding today is devenv, which allows me to recreate the fixlint environment, but in a different location, such that I could activate that lint environment, then activate, and then I can debug it from there, instead of having to poke around in this .tox directory and figure out what's going on there. But that's what I'm working on. I originally wrote it last stream, or maybe it was the stream before, I don't really remember. But I never finished it, and so now I'm working on finishing. You're the first one to look it up. Nice. Well, I remember it being a Minecraft mod. It's because I like to play a lot of Skyblock, mostly with Shoddy actually. And this mod in Skyblock basically allows you to take like a tree and get string from it, and then like compost leaves in a barrel to get dirt, and then like, I don't know, basically it allows you to kind of bootstrap from just a tree and some dirt to a full Minecraft world. And then it has like a bunch of like ores and sifting and grinding and smashing down cobblestone into sand and dust, and I don't know, it's a fun mod, but that's what your name reminded me of. Yeah, that's what I'm working on today. Right now I'm working on adding some tests. Somebody ping me? Well, they did ping me. Oh, I don't know why I'm looking at it over here when I could just look at it here and look at it. Let's see, this is what I had put in initially, but the test showed diff on failure. Fails because args.color is false. Oh, so the test is just completely wrong? Is that what's up? Let's show... Oh, but this doesn't have the full parts? How does this work? Color equals false. Yeah, that's wrong. I don't think color can ever be false there. Main. Oh wait, it does become true and false. Oh, because we transform the... right, we transform the option. So we have this color dot use color. Great if I remembered how my own damn code worked. Use color. Yeah, so it sets it to true. Always auto or never. Oh, well then this is gonna be wrong then. Yeah, so just clarifying this for them, because the argument parsing will always turn args.color into a boolean, and it'll never have the always never, or it'll never have the original values. Oh nice, I just like the Latin phrase. Oh cool. From nothing. Can you talk a bit about your workspace? You're using VirtualBox, I see. Yeah, so I talked a little bit about this just a little while ago, but I'll reiterate again. So I spend a bunch of time on Windows and grew up with Windows and play video games, so it makes more sense for me to use VirtualBox. Also, I break things all the time, and so it's nice for me to be able to start over. My setting is mostly what you see here, so I usually have two terminals side by side. Well, I usually have more than two terminals, but these are zoomed in a bunch so it shows up on stream, because I've basically blown up the font size. You want to see what it normally looks like. T. Oh, not what I expected. This is still the same font size. This is the normal font size that I usually program at. This is this one here, instead of the larger font size. But when I stream at a bigger font size, so you guys can see that. There's a lot to explain that, but the way my computer is set up is mostly I like to keep things as simple as possible. So all the stuff that I'm working on ends up in this workspace directory. I do subclassify some parts of it, so stuff that's related to my Twitch or YouTube goes into this Anthony Writes Code directory. Stuff related to maintaining Dead Snakes, which is Python backports, goes into this directory. And everything else I just throw into my root directory. I also have a project called All Repos, and the idea behind All Repos is you set up a little configuration, which I can show you the example configuration, but I can't show you mine because it has an API key in it, and then you would be able to control my GitHub, and I really don't want that. But it allows me to clone every repo tree max depth. Is this the command? Dash capital L? I don't want 3, I want 2. So it allows me to clone every repo that I have access to and can commit to, which is a big part of my setup, and sometimes I'll do some like distributed grepping with that. Other than that, I try and automate my setup with a Puppet setup, which Puppet is a declarative, a good example. Anyway, this is probably an okay example. Puppet is a declarative format which allows you to set up your system in a specific way. And so I use Puppet to manage all of my installations and stuff, and that goes pretty well. What else? I have very few system installed packages, so the main ones that I deal with are let's see, dpackage-l grep, word boundary python dot number, another number, word boundary. Do I need? Oh, there's no dot here. Okay, yeah. Ah, dang it! It still matched more than I expected. I could do Perl grep and then do spaces here, and this can be simplified to 0 to 9 now that I think about it. But yeah, so I install a couple of Pythons at my system. I don't install pip, so if we say which pip, there's no pip. I also don't install virtualenv. Well, I do, but we'll get to that in a second. But all of the Python tools that I need, I install into a virtualenv inside of my home directory, inside this venv here, which ends up installing all of these packages. Some of them are entry points, some of them are not. And I symlink all of those into my bin directory, and these are basically the tools that I use for the most part. And it's kind of my development environment setup. And I use Nano, which is a crappy text editor, but it gets the job done for me. I do know how to use Vim, I'm just not as fast about it. Oh, I forgot to click this button. But they took my advice before I could tell them that they were actually correct. No. I lied to them. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I accidentally told them the wrong thing because I was too hasty in my original code review, but we use Ansible at work. Nice. Fun thing about Ansible is I know one of the maintainers pretty well. Contributors. Oh, and I'm running Ubuntu. Why does he not show up in the top? Anyway, I know one of the big maintainers of Ansible, and he's a really nice guy. But yeah, I run Ubuntu mostly because, not for any like great reason, just because it's the one that I'm the most familiar with. I grew up on Windows, so I probably can't have valid opinions about the right Linux distribution to use, but Ubuntu gets the job done for me. It's also one of the first operating systems that I set up myself and was able to deal with it. Use Gentoo, you coward! I'm not brave enough to run Gentoo or Arch or things that require people that are more clever than I am to run. Someone asked me the other day, what did they ask me? They were like, would you suggest using Arch Linux? And I replied, personally no, but if you want to learn how to fix a broken Linux system, then Arch is probably a good choice. But wait a minute. The test pass with this buggy code. But the test pass, because what happens? Why would the test pass? Get diff color equals capitalized true. Yeah, yeah, the test pass, because we ignore the return code of get diff, it actually ends up printing something like I think I've convinced myself that I like my new PS1 that I use for streaming. If for nothing else, then it's way easier to copy and paste the just the $sign in my prompt when I'm making things like this. Sorry, contributor. Open source is rough sometimes. Sometimes I spend too little time reviewing changes and then lead people down the wrong path, like this one. But we'll hopefully get there in the end. I also need to make a release, because I don't think I've released pre-commit in a really long time. I guess it's only been 3 weeks. But there's feature requests, there's a bunch of stuff on master that I should release. Like a first parent option for GitHub? Probably not. Yeah, that's quite a lot of changes since last release. Typo. Oh, I should release this. This was a pretty bad bug. Or no, this was the bad bug. This is a cool new feature where if you mess up a pre-commit configuration, so if you, for instance, one thing that I've seen people accidentally do is set args at the wrong depth. So let's say like they set args equals fixed. Pre-commit used to silently, so which pre-commit? This is the old version. Pre-commit used to silently ignore the options that were wrong. Yeah, shush. But now on the latest version, it produces it's a breakpoint. But it produces this nice warning message now. Unexpected keys present on this repository. So at least you can go through and notice that. It also does that at the top level now too. Let's run something faster, like 8. Get rid of that breakpoint too. But yeah, now it produces a warning there, which is pretty cool. What else did we see that is nice? Oh, I fixed a weird bug with Go modules. Go modules do this like, oh man, that was such a weird bug. was that? This one. The Go modules does this strange thing in that it chmods all of the directories as read-only, and on Linux, so let's say I make a directory and I touch x/y and then I remove write on the directory. If I armorfx, it actually crashes with a permission denied error, which is just crazy. But Go actually does this craziness because they're like, oh, we don't want people messing with the modules cache. And like, I kind of get that, but at the same time, like, if you're fundamentally breaking RMRF, that seems not great. But precommit works around this by making that writable and then deleting. What does RMRF with no arguments do? Did I just delete my home directory? No. I expected this to error in some way, but I guess it doesn't. But we fixed that. Anyway, I'm on a tangent. So let's get back. Let's reel it back in and get back to what I was working on. What was I working on? That code review, notifications, talked about GitHub, talked about my virtual machine. I talked about not using Gen 2. I think I actually was working on this still. Did I get my test passing? I forget. So once I get the test passing, then I need to write some docs, which is the part that I hate doing. Let's see if we document the other command lines. Docs example general. General tips and tricks. Wait, what is this? Is this for Emacs? I think this is a comment. Be in --r. This looks like the Emacs sigil. Interactively passing positional arguments. What is the current version of talk, so I can at least talk about... I don't even know where I would document this. Oh, weird. I don't know why it didn't ding in my ear, but Snare Chops has just raided me with a party of 3. Where's the notification? I don't know where the notification is, but thank you, Snare Chops. Snare Chops is a streamer who primarily writes Go. Oh, now it showed up in chat. I don't know why Streamlabs is like 15 seconds ahead of chat. But thank you for the raid. I knew a guy who ran chmod-R400* and he was in Slash. That sounds like a terrible idea. Technically I could do that in Docker now, I guess it wouldn't be so bad. Docker run Ubuntu Bionic. Actually, I'm curious what that does, so let's do it. chmod-R400/. What could go wrong? Can't change the proc file system, that's good. Oh, you have your own emojis, nice. I haven't set up any emojis yet. but maybe I'll do that soon. Hey, what's up, Not a Pumpkin? I hear that you are not a pumpkin, but thank you for following. It'd be pretty weird if a pumpkin followed, but every follow counts. I see. Oh, I can still find stuff. Can I chmod back though? Chmod plus X. No, I probably can't chmod much. Nice to see more Python devs streaming. Yeah, I mean, I mostly write Python sometimes. Oh. Yeah, I guess I can't execute things if nothing is executable. So yeah, this machine is, or this is host. I wonder, can you change, let's see, change executable bit without chmod in bash. How to chmod without chmod? You can run the loader directly and pass it. Really? I mean, if you had LD Linux, where does LD-Linux live? What permissions does this have? Oh, it's under lib64? Yeah. But I don't think I can run this either. Yeah, I can't run that either. I can't run Perl either. I don't think any of these are gonna actually help me. Boot from another source. Yeah, that's cheating. Can't run VI. Yeah, I don't think there's any way to recover from this. Anyway, but it's just a Docker environment, so it's easy for me to get out of there. Are you a pumpkin? I mean, do I look like a pumpkin? I could be a pumpkin. I'm a programming pumpkin. No, I don't think I'm orange enough to be a pumpkin. Sometimes I can be orange though, but not today. But yeah, that's what can happen if you chmod everything. But at least Docker lets me containerize it, so I'm not like destroying my system when that happens. And Golang too. Yeah, I do write some Go sometimes. Not all that often. I think I write more Go helping other people than I do writing my own Go. I do have a couple of projects in Go, although they were written so that I could write Python with them, I guess. The first is a project called Setup Tools Golang, which I needed to build the other project that I'll show you. The idea behind Setup Tools Golang is it allows you to write CPython extensions entirely written in Go. And so if I cd to... Well, let me show you the source first, I guess. So I made some examples. One of them, for instance, is this this sum function that takes in CPython stuff and parses them and returns an answer. But if I pip install that, we look in site packages, so you can see like we have all those same modules that we saw before, and if I import some pure Go, I can add two numbers together with the sum function, and it properly can add. What is the red module? what is the attribute? Red.red. Must be Unicode, not string. Yeah, fine. But I can use modules from Go to colorize things. But anyway, these are all just kind of toy examples. The reason that I built this thing is I wanted to be able to parse Docker files in Python. And there's a bunch of like Dockerfile parsing libraries, but they're all like not quite right, or have false positives or false negatives, or just like crash or didn't support Python 3 or a bunch of other like problems. And so I was like, oh, I wonder how much work it would be to use the, oh, this is wrong. I need to fix that. For some reason, like the first commit after setting up Azure pipelines doesn't trigger the images properly. I need to go through and fix all these. They're just wrong. But anyway, so I wanted to use the official Dockerfile parser. So I wrote that interop code, and then I wrote this, which sets up Docker as a submodule, and then steals the Dockerfile parsing code out of there so that I can pip install Dockerfile. And then import Dockerfile, and then there's a parse string, which, like, say I did from Ubuntu Bionic, and then run echo hi, some Dockerfile. And that gives me some command structures, which basically are the parse tree that Docker spits out. Although it's massaged a little bit so that it looks a little bit better, because the like S expressions that Docker handed back are not the prettiest. Anyway, that's my public Go code. I've written a bunch of like private Go code that is for work and stuff. Hey, what's up, AQ Run? Thank you for the follow. Every follow counts. How's your Friday going? Mine's going all right. I'm on a solid tangent right now. Procrastinating on writing documentation because nobody wants to do that. Okay, so that piece of doc is not relevant. I guess I could just find all of the RST files and grep out the changelog, and then edit every single one of them, and if one of them is relevant, I'll use it. Okay, contributing, no. Auto release, no. Config. Probably also not useful. This is just talking about all the different configuration values that you can use in talks. 1,000 lines of this too. Well, substitutions, environment substitutions, which actually that's probably a feature that I should use more because I don't think I've used that all that much. Factors, env list, but not that file. Developers FAQ. This section contains information for users who want to extend the talk source code. Oh, so this is targeted at like contributors, not at other people. You can use talks rvvve dev. What is that, dude? Dev environment with all the deps at infdir. Okay. This is kind of what my tool is or what my feature is making easier. For tests we use PyTest, therefore change the default test. Oh, this is for PyCharm. Set up stuff on Windows. Wow, with Conda. Aggressive. I don't particularly like Conda, but works, I guess. Alright, basic usage. A simple talks.ini with default environments. Cool. Probably also not relevant. My project. There's an Arduino extension for Visual Studio Code. Interesting. I actually haven't worked with Arduino. It's something that I want to get into, but I haven't played with it yet, unfortunately. This is more like configuration-y stuff. I don't think this is super relevant. Oh, maybe though. Forcing recreation. Passing down environment variables. Setting environment variable. Buying hash seed. We might come back to that. So this file might be relevant. Oh, the Arduino IDE, it's horrible. Yikes. Yeah, because parallel mode is documented here, and that's kind of a new feature thing. Oh, I know what that's about. Development environment. This is the one that probably makes the most sense, because it's literally the same name as the option we're adding. But we'll see if it makes sense to add it in anywhere else. So not that file. Documentation. It's possible to generate the project documentation within Tox itself. Oh, we don't care about that. General. Wasn't this the file that I already had open? Oh no, this is the one. It's not that one. Using with Jenkins. We don't care about Jenkins. Using with nose. Don't care about nose. Using with packaging. We also don't care about that. Platform specific. No, don't care about that. PyTest. I mean, I care about PyTest, but that's not what we're working on today. Results. Don't care about that. Oops. Control Z instead of Control X. Unit test, don't care about that. This is a index page. This is the home page. Install. This shows you how to install Tox. Not cool or not relevant. Links, plugins, support. Okay, so we're going to be adding it to this devenv documentation. Tox can be used for just preparing different virtual environments required by a project. Can be used by deployment tools. And actually, at Yelp, we used Tox to in some of our services, we use Tox to set up the environments that we deployed. We don't use Tox at Lyft at all, though, yet. We currently manually provision our stuff with makefiles, and it's kind of gross, but it gets the job done, so it's not, I mean, it could be better, but it's not great. Here's some examples illustrating how to set up a project's development environment using Tox. Example 2, a more complex scenario. Oh, hold on. About to get distracted. Someone replied to a PR. I don't understand what this means. Can you point me at the relevant code? Also, if args.color is a boolean, then how can we pass the correct value to the get command? I think my changes are correct. Unconditionally passing the color option to get and fixing the test. Yes, let me link him the code. Main.py and color.py. Yes, so the color option is set up here. This is the argument missing bit for pre-commit. The type equals color dot, what was it, color dot use color. Spells argparse to use that callback to determine the actual value of that argument. The use color function is defined here. Color. Where it translates the options into booleans. You're right, you do need to always pass it and not use the code sample. I put below one quick way to translate that would be to do something like this. Color equals format specifier dot format true maps to always and false maps to never. This will map the Boolean values to the string options and format that to the color call. Adding that all together, I think you end up with something like this. My code example from before, but this time we can put this back in here. Cool. I think that's a better response. Oh, I misled this guy twice, and I feel real bad. My bad. Sorry, Mandar. I goofed. It's my fault. Okay, yeah. Docs we use for preparing. I kind of want to rewrite these docs, which is unfortunate. Mandar, come on stream. I guess I should mention that I'm streaming right now. If you want to chat about this PR. Yeah. That'd be the wait, did I typo this? Okay, no, it's right. Cool. That would be the easiest way to resolve this. And then I would actually be able to say sorry while they're listening. Unless they changed it again. Oh, there's this annoying build flake that keeps happening. Which, I don't know why it's happening, and I haven't had time to debug it. But apparently on Linux, and with PyPy 3, not normal PyPy, and with my project, and with just like a normal test suite, and with coverage enabled, sometimes this is triggering a crash. It's setting a warning about an unclosed file. Actually, okay, let's see if we can reproduce this, because I can get the exact version of PyPy 3. So this is 7.00 final and the 3.5 flavor, and it's on Ubuntu 16.04. So I can replicate that. PyPy org. Good, it is pypy.org. Download default 353.7.00. Oh, they didn't bother with 7.11 for 3.53? Interesting. I guess it makes sense. Like, abandon 3.5, get to 3.6 and be good there. And we want this binary. TI Ubuntu Xenial, because that's what TI is running. Curl get nano CA certificates. Hopefully I don't need anything else. Oh, I'll need Python. Duh. Oh no, I won't need Python, because I'll just use PyPy. Yeah, okay, I kind of need to rewrite these docs to mention devenv and like not mention this as much. We want our project environment to use B. How does code coverage work? How does it know it covered a percentage? Yeah, so depending on the language, it does a different thing. In Python, the way it works, I can kind of show you that with some magic here. So there's this sys.setTrace function, and what you can do is you can set it to a function. And then every time you execute something, is it not working? Maybe I forget how setTrace works. Anyway, there's a way that you can let's see, setTrace. setTrace, set the system's trace function, which allows you to implement a Python source code debugger in Python. Trace function should have 3 arguments: frame, event, arg. Frame is the current stack frame. Oh, maybe you have to have a function. Trace function is invoked with event. It should return a reference to a local function to be used for that scope. Oh, okay. A lambda that returns a lambda that prints trace. Why is it still not working? They have an example with setTrace. Anyway, so what coverage does is it overrides this setTrace function to inject bytecode before and after every line and expression that runs, and then the coverage machinery records this all line exception information inside a global data structure, and at the end of the process, when the process tears down, or when you stop coverage, because you can manually start and stop it, it records that data into a little data file. And so we look, there's probably one here, no? Let me just show a quick example. If x print hello, else print no hello, and then f of 1. So if we do coverage run t.py, it ran hello, and so it only ran this branch of this code, and coverage spit out this little data file here, which you're intentionally not supposed to consume this file directly, but the current format is this text header and then it's JSON after that. So in theory, you could just parse the JSON, but the format shows what things got run. And then if you use the coverage utility to show what coverage happened, you can do coverage report include t.py, and that'll show you there were 5 statements and I missed one. You can also run coverage HTML, and that will make an HTML output of the coverage that ran, and so you can kind of look at the lines that got run and didn't get run. And anyway, that's how it works in Python. In C and C++, the compiler injects some tracing bytecode before and after each line, and then that gets recorded in these GCNA files for C++. But yeah, that's kind of how coverage works. And the way it knows the percentage is basically it parses the Python source and finds all of the runnable lines, and then checks which ones got ran, and then does some math based on that. Okay, but yeah, let's get PyPy going. We don't have curl. Curl-o pypi.car.bc2. Interesting. I always thought the devs would manually tally that up when they ran a unit test for a function. That would be so much work. It would kind of work, but it would be so much work. This does not look like a tar archive. That is unfortunate. Apt install. Is it just file or is it called magic? Oh, well, it's just called file. Cool. I probably downloaded just a redirect page. Empty. Okay, yeah, I got redirected. Makes sense. LB zip2 cannot exec. Apt install bzip2. Okay, I think that's working now. Taking a while. And then we want to clone. Clone pre-commit. Set up a virtual environment. So I have this script that I can just clone anywhere and pass it to a Python executable, and it'll help me set up a virtual env. From there, we're going to set up Tox, which is the same tool that I'm working on trying to finish Tox for. And I'm going to change my Tox file to only run some of the faster tests. Coverage run test / client lib test.py. We'll only worry about coverage in this file. Now, in theory, if I run tox-e pypi3, we should be able to reproduce this bug. That might be the slower way to reproduce this, though. So maybe I'll find a faster way that doesn't involve tox, like just running pytest in a loop. And then, in theory, if I can get a reproduction, then I can make a bug report. But until then, I haven't tried to make a bug report, so hopefully it reproduces. Don't need this anymore. What are you doing? Okay, cool. So that passes, but this is essentially the command that I want to run over and over. And in theory, it should crash occasionally, but you know, hasn't happened yet. And the unfortunate thing is, Precommit has like several 100 tests, 581. So if it's a 1 in 500 chance, and I'm running 37 tests, it's gonna take a while. But this will run this command 100 times. But let's just do it 5 times first. Make sure my command's right, and then I'll let it run 100 times and just leave that in the background, and hopefully I can eventually reproduce it. Sick! Reproduces on the first one! Actually, it seems to reproduce pretty reliably. I wonder if it reproduces without coverage, is the other thing to try. YAML reader? It seems to just be in like a random file, from what I've seen. I wonder, because we have the file descriptor number here, but we don't know what file that is. So maybe if I run it with breakpoints enabled, then I can find out what FD8 is, then figure out whose fault it is. Oh, sick! Happened the first time. Unless it closed FD8. It might close FD8, but then we wouldn't know. Rock slash... Hey, what's up, Recursive Chat? Thank you for the follow. Every follow counts. So this is the process that we care about. Proc 3515. FD. We no longer have FD8. Damn it. Oh, music stopped. Keep playing. See, we don't have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 15. Oh, we do have 3. But maybe it just got reused. What is dev PTS? 3, 4. What is line 286 of this file? Completely nothing. Okay, well, I think I'm gonna make a Docker file that has a reproduction here. Actually, let's see if we can reproduce this without coverage. I suspect it's caused by coverage, but I'm not sure. Like, if we can reproduce it with just PyPy, that'll tell me that... Seems like not. Seems like it has to be coverage. Actually, I should look at the... if there's any... oh, it's nedbat coverage. I don't remember what the error was. Oh, I guess I can scroll up. Unclosed file. There's a bug report about that. There's some closed ones. Really old closed ones. Someone from here knows G-code for Marlin firmware. I have no idea. Oh, hey. I know Daniel. He works on PyTest. Alright, well, I'll see if I can... wonder if I can make an even more minimal reproduction. This is my conf test with the warning handler. Hey, what's up, WAS Transparent? What was transparent? I can read. I know how to read. Reading is a thing I can do. Thank you, Was Transparent, for the follow. Every follow counts. How do I make a bunch of tests? Let's make 1,000 tests. Ugh. I know how to code. Equals okay, that should make 1,000 tests in theory. a test. Cool. That makes 1,000 tests. Does this reproduce the bug? No, why are you not reproducing? I am like sad. Let's see if just like importing more code makes it happen. Kind of doubt it. Kind of feel like I'm not going to be able to minimally reproduce this bug. It's frustrating. Oh, I bet I could set a breakpoint in the place where the resource error occurs, unless it's native PyPy code. I don't even know where to begin. Way more files than I expected. This seems relevant. Write that Python, Anthony. Hey, what's up, outdated version? Haven't seen you in a while. Are you in the Discord? If not, you should join. That way I can say hi to you. When it's not just stream time. Let's see, we want _IO. But there is no _IO. Okay, so it probably gets built in module. Unfortunate. So I won't be able to figure that out. TIL, there's a Discord. Oh well, there you go then. Yeah, it's linked in the down there somewhere. But yeah, anyone in chat, if you want to chat with me when I'm not streaming, or just like talk about programming or get advice on stuff, or I don't know, anything you really want to get out of chatting with other like-minded people, then hit up the Discord. Yeah, I happen to check it at odd hours of the night too, so unfortunately it's probably the fastest way to contact me currently. Oh yeah, and sure enough, my phone is going off. Somebody joined the Discord. I'm gonna assume that's you, outdated version, so cool. But it looks like I'm failing to make a minimal reproduction here, which is unfortunate. Nice blue PFP profile picture. Yeah. Yeah, it's the one that I use at work. I was like, I could use my channel icon, but then wait, that's kind of redundant. Because this is what I use for my like Twitter avatar. Is the same as my channel icon. I guess I could use my GitHub profile maybe. But all Constance is leaving. Rip. Constance worked because today was her last day at Lyft, and she's been there for a really long time, but now she's moving on, which is unfortunate. But Ben be me. Okay, I will remember that. But yeah, anyway, let's what was the not t.py. Get this to actually reproduce again, and then we will copy and paste some. There we go. Anyway, ipy3 plus coverage. Unclosed file. Let's make a Docker file that reproduces this. That way it's something that someone else can play with. From Xenial. Run. I saw GitHub didn't load one page there. At the new job, they use Bitbucket. We just call it shitbucket. Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, so my user profile, I'm too much of a power user now, so GitHub like frequently doesn't load my page. I think I've hit like 5 or 6 unicorns on this stream so far, just trying to load my user page. Because I was going to show you my icon. Yeah, there's another one. I uploaded it to Twitter, so we can find it there too. How do I my profile? And photos. And somewhere back here. Yeah, here we go. So this is my GitHub profile photo, and this is me taking another version of my GitHub profile photo in January. But I could have set it to one of these, just for the memes. Apt-get install, no install, recommends, virtualenv, curl, what do we need, bzip2, and git, and apt-get clean, and then we need to download curl. Obviously GitHub is not what's going on. Yeah, it's some like shitty Ruby. Curl ipy.tar.bz2. We should checksum that. Checksum command that we want. We're enterprise scale download or making this happen. tar-xf ipy.tar.bz2 and rm ipy.tar.bz2. Oh shit, printer halted, homing failed. The motor started making this noise. What does apt-get clean do? Oh, you're right. I also need to do rmref var lib apt list star. So this cleans up some of the apt metadata that gets downloaded as part of this. This cleans up the rest of it. It doesn't sound good. Yeah. Okay, so then we need to virtualenv -p. We unzipped it. What did we get? We got this. So we should clone first. Git clone. And we need to check out summer vision. This one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then we want to install precommit slash requirements dev.text and then worker. I guess we can do that here. And then our command that will run the devenv bin coverage run sham pytest test slash client lib test.py. But we want our, guess this will sometimes reproduce. Anyway, let's start with that. Why do you start the run directives with a colon? Does that do something fancy? So colon in bash is a shell built in that always produces. It's essentially the same as doing true. What did I do wrong? Oh, I need these. So the reason that I do colon and then a backslash here is kind of the same reason that you would do trailing commas. And like if I were to do this fully correctly, I would put backslash and a colon here. So now I can add and remove commands here without modifying the commands around them. So it's just kind of like it's kind of like the same idea as trailing commas. Like you would produce a minimal diff while editing any of these lines. I usually leave out the end one because I rarely edit the last line. So, but it makes it so I can line up all the commands, kind of. But this is going to take a while, so while that's chugging along, I can get back to writing my documentation. I'm just amazed how fast you think and type. Oh no. I mean, my brain is pretty scatterbrains. Are you shitting me? Oh, fine, we don't have devenv. I guess we have to download devenv. Right, because devenv wasn't in Ubuntu until Bionic. Do we have the curl command here? No. Bummer. Got a backslash here. Did I forget a backslash on any of these? No, we're good. We want to checksum this file. I think there's a SHA-256 sums. Oh, I downloaded it. I didn't want that. That's the Debian. That's the one that I want. This awesome. This one here. Hope that that's right. Hopefully that fixes it. Basically, the end stop prevents the printer from continuing long and breaking the shaft. As my printer assembles it, I have to configure the firmware, which in this case is Marlin, so that the limit switches are not in reverse. Oh, you're like a 3D printer. I thought you were talking about like a like a like a paper printer. But yeah, 3D printer makes way more sense. Why you're programming the firmware and all that other stuff. Yeah. I've always wanted to play with a 3D printer. I guess I could just buy one and play with it. But I've never really had the time to do that, but maybe that'll be another one of my projects that I never finish. Okay, so I want to rewrite the stock page. So currently it's talking about stuff that I'm trying to obsolete. So Box can be used for preparing different virtual environments required by a project. I'm gonna put my stuff first and then the other stuff below it. The easiest way to do this is to take any existing Box environment and invoke the command line using the devenv option. For example, the devenv option are these title case? No, because scenario is not capitalized on here. The easiest way to set up a development environment is to use the devenv option. I guess I should show this tab so I can see when it finishes. Oh, I should put silent on these. Alright, it's not for set. Gotta really enterprise up this Docker file in case someone wants to copy and paste it. Let's see, the easiest way to set up a development environment is to use the devenv option. Along with your existing configured testenvs. The devenv option accepts a single argument, the location you want to create a virtual form. The location you want to create a development environment at. For example, if I wanted to replicate the Pi36 environment, I could run tox devenv pi36-e pi36. I think I need 2 colons here. Source VM pi36 and then activate. Oh, what happened here? Invalid requirement. Recommit /o. Right. I changed the worker here, so I don't need this anymore. For example, if I wanted to replicate the Pi36 environment, I could run this. The devenv option skips the commands section of that configured test environment and always sets develop. Wait, what is the option? Is it here? No. This is where all repos comes into play, so I know I've done this somewhere. I can search for develop in tox.ini and it'll show me where I've used this option for. Okay, so it's use develop. And always sets use develop equals true for the environment that is created. If you don't specify an environment with -e, the devenv feature will default to the Python that the devenv feature will default to -e pi, usually taking the interpreter you're running talks with, and the default testenvs environment. Okay, I'll proofread that and I'll add another section here. Let me check, catch up on chat. Let's see. Oh, LMAO, same. Damn, that hits close to home. When I built costs $100, it's much cheaper than an iPhone. Nice. Never finishing projects hits too close to home. Yeah. Oh, I have such a hard time finishing stuff. I was telling last stream about I have a to-do list that I include on my wiki page, and I consistently just add more stuff to this. Like, recently I got this cool idea that, oh, I would write a PyTest plugin that would automatically tell you which tests are causing global test pollution, and then automate that, but I never, obviously, haven't started on that. Oh, I was supposed to package Python 3.5.1 for Gabber. I still haven't done that. I did package it, it was just broken for reasons. And this one I'm actually working on, so that's good. This one I looked at it while I was sick, and like looking at C code when you're like kind of conked out is like not a good strategy. I figured out where the cursor matching code was, but I didn't get much further than that. This one I want to use for work, but I haven't done that yet. What is this about? Oh, the idea that I had was to squash layers in Docker, and then if any of the files were the same, hard link them to each other to save some space, but I didn't implement that either. But anyway, there's a bunch of ideas that I have that just gets longer and I never finish any of them. I want to make an automated garden with Arduino, but when I want to start, the loop repeats. Oh, I see. Where's that all repos thing from? It looks wonderful. It's so good. So good. But it's a project that I wrote, so of course I would say it's real good. But yeah, it's really easy to get started and it's super pluggable. Basically, you set up a configuration file that looks kind of like this. This is the example that I use for GitHub. You grab an API token and then you just run all repos clone, which is idempotent. It'll always reclone the same repos, and if they're all up to date, it does nothing. But it has a bunch of different source modules. So like if you want to, like the one that I use is GitHub, but you can also like clone someone's GitHub org. I used this once to massively replace HTTP to HTTPS URLs in the SAS organization, for instance. Yikes, can't use that then. Yeah, it's my software, you can't use it, rip. Very funny. But yeah, like you can use it to clone a specific GitHub org. I used this also once to audit Flake 8 on some popular open source Python companies. So like I cloned all of Uber's repositories and ran Flake 8 against them, and like I cloned all of Yelp's repositories and ran Flake 8 against them. This is when I was trying to figure out whether the 3.7 release broke stuff or not. And obviously I missed a bunch of stuff because I made 7 bug fix releases for that. Like, oh, I should probably make another one. I was supposed to do that. Well, there will probably be a 3.7.8 next week if I get around to it. There's also a Gitolite. Gitolite is a Git hosting server that often people do when they're hosting their own Git. This is what Yelp used, so someone actually contributed this. And then you can write your own source. I haven't implemented GitLab or Bitbucket or GitHub Enterprise, but I plan to. It's not hard to add a source, but it's pretty cool. And then all repos also comes with a bunch of commands. The one that I use probably most often is this all repos grep, which allows you to basically distribute grep across all of your repositories. There's also find files, which allows you to find files of a specific name. So like if I wanted to find all of the requirements files, requirements.txt files in all my repos, I could run that. And here's a list of all of the requirements files. So that's pretty cool. All repos clone is useful for setting up your initial clone. All repos complete does tab completion, although... oh, I didn't want to do that. Dang it. Oh well, we'll let that clone. But all repos complete allows me to do tab completion. I don't have it hooked up, but the way it ends up working is you can then do git clone, git, and then tab tab tab, and it'll tab complete all of the repos that you've cloned, or all of the repos that you have write permission to. So that's pretty cool. There's all repos list repos, which is useful sometimes when you need to like run an xargs command. And then we get to the rewriters. All repos manual allows you to like drop into a shell in a bunch of different repos and like make changes and have them be automatically committed and pushed. All repos sed, which I use all the time, allows you to do like some quick find and replace in a bunch of repositories. So you can see like all repos incantations. Like these are some of the find and replaces that I've done. Like this one, I match all lines that have Python 3.6 and drop them in travis.yaml files. Because Travis switched Python 3.6 to be the default, and so it would apply a change that looks kind of like this in all the repositories at once. Like, I have a bunch of those that I've run and like what their diffs do. And what other commands are there? Oh, I guess that's it. You can also write your own auto fixers if you want. So you can see like down here I've written a bunch of auto fixers, like one that will run pre-commit auto update for you. Most of them are around pre-commit, because let's be real, that's what I spend most of my time working on. But it's pretty easy to just like, you write this find repos function, this apply fix function, and you can optionally write a check fix function if you want to do some spot checking before committing. But anyway, that's all repos, and I find it kind of useful. This is so slow to start. Oh, and I should run it with -rm. And of course, now it's not reproducing. Why is that taking so long to discover? I don't know. But this was reproducing like 50% of the time, and now we're not reproducing at all? What gives? Please just crash one of these times. Why is it not failing? We very much got it to fail here. What's different? Okay, it failed there. Cool. Sweet. Okay, that's all I wanted. we have this Docker file. Okay. So all of this rabbit hole was because I was making a GitHub issue. Describe the bug. Occasionally, while running coverage on a specific test suite, causes unclosed file warnings in random parts of code, only when instrumented by coverage. Apologies, I haven't narrowed down the root cause yet. With pi3. Apologies, I haven't narrowed down the root cause yet, but I do have a pretty consistent reproduction using Docker. To reproduce, here's a Docker file. Build this with Docker builds dash t pi coverage bug dot. Oops, shoot. You can run this with the following command. However, it only reproduces about 1 every 10 times, so you might. And it's a bit slow to stop and start Docker repeatedly. Easier way that I've been reproducing is by doing this. Oh, we want to put RM here so we're good citizens. Where was the command that I ran? Up here somewhere. Where is the yes command? Here we go. Oops. It passes, it looks like this. When it fails, it looks like this. How can we reproduce the problem? What version of Python are you running? Pi3. Copy it from up here, right? What version of packages are you installed? I guess I can pip freeze. What code are you running? Shown above. It's pre-commit. What commands did you run? See above. Expected behavior. Not to crash. See above. Initial context. Thanks again for writing coverage. It has been instrumental to all of my testing, all of my Python testing. Sorry I haven't narrowed down this bug enough yet, but figured I'd post this in case you have any ideas on where I should start looking. This is currently flaking a lot for me in Azure pipelines. Okay, that seems like a good enough issue. Hopefully Ned will be able to find something from that. But I don't know. We'll find out, I guess. CI flakes are due to this, I believe. Hopefully I'll fix them at some point. Still not finished with this, but they'll fix it, and then we'll be able to merge this PR. I gave them kind of a runaround, which is unfortunate, but okay, close that, Dominant, all repos, cool, pre-commit, Docker file, when I tried to recover that Docker container, docs. Okay, cool, so I can get back to writing docs now. Boring. Oh, I'm an idiot, I didn't send the Arduino. Oh. Whoops. Yeah, that would do it. Is it my internet or is the video paused? I think it's your internet, because let's see. Man, stream delay is pretty delayed right now, but it seems to be working for me. Yeah, chat also says that stream's probably fine. It's more delayed than usual. Like usually it's only like a 2 or 3 second delayed, but right now it's like 15. But what are you gonna do, Twitch? I have no control over Twitch delay, unfortunately. Box can be used for just preparing different virtual environments required by a project, the devenv option. The easiest way to set up a development environment is to use the devenv option, along with your existing configured testenvs. The devenv option accepts a single argument, the location you want to create a development environment at. For example, if I wanted to replicate the py36 environment, I could run tox-devenv -e py36 and then source the activate file and then python-version. The devenv option skips the command section of the configured test environment and always sets useDevelop equals true for the environment that's created. If you don't specify an environment with -e, the devenv feature will default to -e py, usually taking the interpreter you're running tox with, and the default test-end configuration. Hey, what's up, 064B? Thank you for the follow. Every follow counts. Now we have to figure out what to do with the original docs. Just used your Pi upgrade yesterday. Nice. Pi upgrade is one of my projects that I'm pretty proud of. It was originally... I originally wrote the... this first part, the set literals part. I wrote this during a hackathon while I was at Yelp. Because I was so sick of pointing the shit out in code reviews. Like... So, like, oh hey, you could use this in Python 2.7 instead of using your Python 2.6 code. Like, I was just so sick of pointing that out that I wrote this to rewrite that. Hey, what's up, devenv? Or I probably just mispronounced that. Sorry. Thank you for the follow. Every follow counts. But yeah, I wrote this during a hackathon so I could stop pointing it out in code reviews, and then it's just grown a bunch of features since then. And I had wanted to do something like this for so long, but I hadn't thought of like a good way to make it happen. And then like I had a stupid idea during hackathon that like, oh, I could just like tokenize the Python source and then cross-reference with AST, and like that idea hadn't clicked with me before. There's other ways to rewrite code in Python with like lib2to3 or Astor, I think, is another one, or Baron, but none of them really are fully featured in this. This did what I wanted, so I made it happen. But yeah, it's got a bunch of new features since then, and like we use it a lot at work. In fact, like when we complete migrating a service from Python 2 to Python 3, we've been running basically this Py36 plus mode and getting our sweet F strings and factoring out all of our uses of 6 and that sort of thing. And actually, we're about to run Pi upgrade on PyTest because PyTest is switching. PyTest is switching to a development model where we're gonna have. Well, right now, what we have with PyTest is we have master, which is bug fix patches, and then we have features, which is our feature releases. And so we only do bug fixes to master, and we only do features to features, and when we release bug fixes, we release from master, and when we release features, we merge master into features and then release features. But we're going to be dropping Python 2 on the main branches, and then only supporting bug fix patches for PyTest moving forward. And so then we're going to have a 3-branch model where we backport changes to the Python 2 branches. And so it'll allow us to use Python 3 on the main branches. And eventually we'll drop Python 3.5, and then I'll be able to use f-strings in PyTest, which will be cool. But I think we can start writing some type annotations, which will be cool too. So we can get started with MyPy and like do some cool stuff there. And I don't know. I'm excited to write Python 3 and PyTest because I don't know about you, but I'm sick of hacking around Python 2 stuff. Use the Py36 option. Nice. Yeah, it's I don't know. It's pretty good. I work on it on stream pretty often too. So if you ever want to see like me add more features to it, like Pi upgrade is something that I hack on quite a lot. Not this stream. Well, probably not this stream because I'm gonna finish these docs and go to bed, and that's been like 3 hours of me not really writing much code. But you know what? That's how most of these streams go. It's fun chatting with chat and like poking on a bunch of other things. But yeah, really loving using Python 3.6. Yeah, I don't know. I think I haven't been as excited about a Python version until f-strings came along. Also, the like type annotation stuff in 3.6 got way better too, and so like that stuff's been pretty cool too. That printer is very rare. What are you linking me to? How brave am I to just load it up?
Hey guys, what we have here is the very first print that's ever been done on a RipRap Helios.
RipRap Helios.
Helios is, you're probably in the majority because this is the first one ever. It's a prototype.
Oh, I see.
The final version won't actually.
Prototype. Cool. Developed on Google Plus. What? What is Google Plus? What is that? Risky click of the day. Yeah, clicking on a link from Tati. Well, it's YouTube, so it can't be that risky. But no, sometimes I'm brave and I trust chat and I click on links, and sometimes I regret it, but not this time. Yeah, that's a pretty cool setup for a 3D printer. RIP Google Plus. Yeah. Variable annotations are great. Yeah, I agree. They're pretty slick. Also, you can do cool stuff. Like, I think my favorite feature of the variable annotations is being able to do... Yeah, that was that thing. From typing import named tuple, and then you can define named tuples like this. Named tuple. Ugh. Where the fields are just like this. But you can also specify defaults. So we have like optional int equals none. I don't know. I think this is pretty slick. That was enabled by the Python 3.4 variable annotation stuff. But yeah, that's pretty cool in my opinion. Okay, what was I doing? Oh, I need to like change all of these headers. What is an H3 header? H3 header in RST. That's not what I wanted. I don't think that helps me. Does the all repos thing not support multiple pages of repositories? What do you mean by pages? So the GitHub stuff should paginate. That's what you're asking. So like this is all of the repos that I have write access to. Public repos that I have write access to. And so it does collect all of them, even though, so like, grep, I'll get the number. Yeah, so like, GitHub API by default paginates by 30, and you can bump it up to 100, and so this had to do at least 3 pages of search. Yeah, it paginates. Is it bad practice to not use virtualenvs when programming Python? In my opinion, you should always use a virtualenv. Part of the, like, some of the benefits are that you could isolate different projects from each other, and if one project requires a different set of requirements from your other project, you don't have to worry about conflicts and stuff. Also, installing stuff to your system can reduce the stability of your system packages, especially because Python is pretty popular for writing system utilities. And so, like one of my most upvoted questions of all time is on Stack Overflow is a question caused by upgrading a system package when it was managed by the operating system, which causes this stack trace here, in particular pip. So like pip is pretty important, but like it can often break your system. Does that mean that when you pip install, it will install to the virtualenv instead? Yes. So that's how things work on my machine. Well, this is a bad example. So right now I'm not in a virtualenv at all, and I actually don't have pip installed at all, so I'm never tempted to mess up my system in that way. But when I activate a virtualenv, so this got activated through a magical tool that I wrote called Activator with 2 A's. But Activator is kind of a, I'll put that in the chat. Activator is kind of a cool tool where if I make this .activate.sh and this .deactivate.sh, it'll automatically source this virtual environment when I cd into that directory. And the way it works is there's a prompt command, and this part comes from activator. Basically, prompt command gets run in bash between every command that you run, and so this eval here will run this command, which produces no output in the default case because there's nothing to do right now. But if I run it in a subshell, yeah, if I run it in a subshell, it'll like say like here's some stuff that it should have done. Like in this case, it'll run activator. It'll export this version variable, which you'll see is set here. It'll do some stuff for Zeesh, but if it's not Zeesh, it'll check and make sure that activator is installed. Wait, what? What is going on here? Oh, I see. Here's the part where it actually does the clever stuff. So this is just making sure that it's set up properly. And then it'll do a security check, and then it'll source it if the security check passes. But that's kind of how activator works, and that's why this virtual env magically got activated. But in that case, there's a pip that points directly into this virtual env, and that pip has its own set of packages. And so I don't ever install system packages. It only goes into a virtual env. Now that has some trade-offs because sometimes you want some executables to be available more broadly, and I get around that by making a single virtual env that where is that? Opt. I make a virtual env in my home directory /opt, and so there's this venv here, and this virtual env has a bunch of things installed to it, but then I take those and symlink them into a bin directory in my home directory, and I put the bin directory on the path. You can see like /bin gets prefixed to my path, so that causes all of these executables that were installed to that virtual env to become kind of globally installed. They're not quite globally installed, like they're all done in user space, but they're available for any shell that I use. But anyway, hopefully that gives you some answers about virtual environments and my opinions about them. Title and subtitle. Is there no like third level title? Oh, here we go. Sections. These all the same? Oh, tildes are for subsection. Okay. Oh, that gives me my third level. We'll change these to tildes. Oh wait. No, we change these to dashes. And change these to tildes. Ugh. And up here we need to make a top level title. Creating creating development environments using the devenv option. Environments. Creating development environments using configuration. think I can bring this up to the top, maybe? This feature can be... oh, that's too far up to the top. This feature can be used by deployment tools when preparing deployed project environments. It can also be used for setting up normalized project development environments, and this will reduce the risk of different team members using mismatched development environments. The easiest way to set up a development environment is to use the devenv option along with your existing configured testenvs. The devenv option accepts a single argument, the location you want to create a development environment at. Okay, good enough. Screw this. I also need to make a changelog entry. Docs, changelog. 1326.feature.rst, and the devenv enter option for creating development environments from testenv configurations by user is utility. What hour is it there? It is 9 p.m. In California right now. Which, I'm sad to admit, but is basically my bedtime. Oh hey, Talks passed 1,000 stars recently. That's pretty cool. Predicament is so close to 3,000. Like, so close. Just like 13 more people need to press this button. That'll be at 3,000, but it's not quite there yet. Oh, it's 1 a.m. there. Nice. It's pretty early in the morning. Sometimes I stay up till 1, but not tonight. Go here and resolve this other thing. There's implement devenv. Maybe go through the checklist to make sure that I did all the other things that I need to do. Wrote a pull request. Time to add everyone in the work Slack for repo stars. Yo, you know what I could do that would really mess with work Slack? Actually, let me see if I can show this on the stream. So we have a general channel, which only admins are allowed to post in. Hey, what's up, awinner21? Thank you for the follow. Every follow counts. I guess I can't show it. There's private links in there. Dang it. But anyway, we have a general channel, which only admins can post in, and so like general users cannot post in it. Also, nobody at Lyft can leave the general channel, and as such there's 7,000 plus people in it. But we recently migrated from public Slack to Slack Enterprise, which is their like separate instance thing. But as part of the migration, they forgot to put the limitation back on the general channel. So while I was unlocked, I was able to post into general. And even though I can no longer post in general, I can still edit my messages in general. And Slack has this weird feature that if you edit a message after it's already been sent and add something that pings someone, it will re-ping them. So I could just put @here or @channel in my edit message and then ping 7,000 people. Which would be kind of evil, but also like incredibly hilarious. We got time to add everyone for Slack. YOLO, right? This implements an option which makes it really easy to set up development virtualenvs based on the existing testenv configurations. Contribution checklist. Okay, did that. Wrote some tests. Added some docs. Did not write an issue, but just made a PR. Changelog. Dope. I'm a maintainer, so of course I'm in the contributors. Cool. Awesome. I think that... Well, I'll review the code here and make sure it looks alright. I miss Slack. We use Microsoft Teams. I don't know. Slack's okay. It gets the job done. I don't know, I'm kind of a curmudgeon-y type and actually, oddly enough, prefer IRC, which, like, is, kinda lame, but I don't know. I grew up on IRC, so it's okay. But it doesn't have, like, logging, and it doesn't have emojis, and blah blah blah. Yeah, it's not the greatest technology, but I use IRC all the time, and, like, it works well enough for me. Changelog. Wrote some docs here, change those headers. The actual option. After setting. Changed how use develop works. Added my configuration to the end of the file. Hopefully that's what Gabber meant. If not, he'll tell me where to put it, because he knows better than I do. And then I added some tests. I've yet to figure out the difference between Slack and Slack Enterprise. As far as I know, the story behind it is Slack had no product that was like auditable or durable or like met all of the compliance things, because they're just like, oh yeah, we'll just implement compliance some other day. Oh, I'm playing with a chip clip, in case you're wondering what that weird noise is, or you saw the thing attached to my hand. But it's just on my desk because I think I was eating like baking chips, like chocolate chips, and either finished the bag or whatever and just left the clip in here. But anyway, I digress. I think so Slack didn't have an enterprise product, and so they purchased HipChat, and HipChat did have all of these like enterprisey compliance features. And so from what I understand, Slack Enterprise is just the Slack front end slapped on top of the HipChat backend. And has a bunch of like limitations and breakages due to that. But like when they migrated us, they fucked up the migration so bad. It was so messed up. So like the first thing was they turned off custom emojis, so we couldn't upload new emojis. They also migrated, so our Slack has 10,000 or 11,000 emojis, which is just like fucking crazy town. Like we have 11,000 custom emojis, but they missed like 24 of them while migrating for some reason. But fortunately, I thought ahead of this. I was like, you know what? If they messed up the emojis, everyone would be sad forever. So I wrote a script that backed up all of the lift emojis before we migrated, and so that was how I was able to figure out that some were missing. But we weren't allowed to upload custom emojis, and the big one that got people really pissed was you couldn't edit your display name. It was forcibly set to the first letter of your first name and then your last name, which for me didn't matter because I use Acetilly everywhere. But some people like had built an identity around their Slack handle, and like being forcibly set to something else was pretty bad. Also, like some people have gone through like gender transitions while at Lyft, and so their Slack handle being forcibly set to their dead name was just like really fucking like awful to like come into work and just like be reminded of your not self, and like that was pretty shitty. But also like you couldn't mark that you were out of office anymore, which is also like super broken. But like people like got real mad about that, and it turns out that it was just like a checkbox on the like Slack side to like enable that for us, and they just like didn't flip the checkbox, so they just flipped the checkbox and it was fixed. But oh man, there was some real spicy takes, and like one of the private channels were like, yeah, we should just like stop using work Slack and like do all of our communication on an external Slack, because like at least we can set our display name there. And like they eventually fixed it though. It literally took engineering directors like going to IT and being like, you need to fucking change this. Like, we can't do this to make it happen, which, I don't know. It did eventually get fixed, though. But then a bunch of other, like, little stuff got broken. Like, it reset all of the notification settings. So, like, I used to have Slack, well, I used to have Slack configured so that I would get an hourly digest of all of my direct messages or direct pings that I didn't notice because I wasn't at my computer. And I would get that digest emailed to me on like an hourly cadence. But that option either doesn't exist anymore or I'm too stupid to find it and it got wiped. And so now maybe I'm in a better place because now I don't get notified at all. But a bunch of other like little stuff like that got lost in the migration. But I don't know, for the most part it should work the same. Oh, also they reset all the tab complete on emojis, and like one emoji that I use all the time is like : thumbs up, and like send like a thumbs up emoji because like, yeah, good job, thanks, thumbs up. And I would type : THU enter because I don't know, that's what would tab complete to it. But and that's been like muscle memory, so like every time I would type that I would get thumbs up. Every time I would type THU enter I get thumbs up. But now that all the tab complete got reset, I typed : THU, and instead of tab completing to thumbs up, it tab completed to Arthur. And like, not just like Arthur, but like Arthur the fist meme. This one. This meme. We have an emoji for that, apparently. So now instead of like giving people thumbs up, I give them the Arthur fist meme. And the worst part is, because I've accidentally typed THU and gotten Arthur, that is now my primary suggested emoji. And so, like, I basically am going to have to untrain it from doing Arthur and retrain it for thumbs up so that I can actually make thumbs up work again. Which is just like, ugh. It's just like a little thing that just like is enough to be like, this fucking sucks. That put me on edge. Now I'm like tilted about emojis and like, ugh. It's just a damn mess. But like, I don't know. Hopefully they improve that and make that less super broken. But I don't know. Oh, also all of the search indexes got wiped too, so now all of the search is completely irrelevant. You search for an error message, and like it used to just like show you the error message, but now it just like shows you every message that ever happened. It's just like, great, cool, can't find anything anymore. Not like Slack search was any good to begin with, but it's way worse when it's way worse. But, no, that's Slack Enterprise. Anyway, I got this feature done. Let's see, it's 9 o'clock. I've been streaming for 3 hours. I might call the stream here. Let me see if there's something like small in my PRs that I can just knock out quickly. Oh, I can get this done. I won't actually be able to release it, but yeah, I still think this looks like a helm and not a firework, but this is supposed to be a firework. But I was supposed to change the changelog. It's like, ugh. Let's nitpick some grammar. I don't even care, so I'm just gonna be like, accept. And then, wait, where's the one where he's like, yeah, I'm gonna commit all that. But yeah, tomorrow morning I'll be releasing PyTest 4.6, which has one feature that I spent a ton of time both on this stream and like elsewhere working on, which is, where's the feature? Where is the big one? This one. I spent a bunch of time switching PyTest from package resources to import the metadata. And this changelog kind of doesn't do it justice, but it improves startup performance by as much as like 20%, which is pretty awesome. But I'm excited to release this tomorrow. It'll be the 4.6.x series will be the last one that supports Python 2 and Python 3.4, and so from then on, all of the new 5.x and above releases will be Python 3 only, which is pretty exciting. But that is all I've got for today. I probably, yeah, I need to get some sleep. This week has been rough. It's been a real stressful, not so much sleep week. So I'm gonna find someone to raid, and then I'll send you guys off there. Oh, let me wait. No, that's not how we do this. First, we do my little spiel. So if you missed any part of the episode, you can catch them on YouTube, and that's youtube.com/AnthonyWritesCode, which is the same as my Twitch handle. If you want to catch any future streams, follow me on Twitch, but also check out the Discord in the description below. If you want to just like get notified of streams, or talk to me about code, or I don't know, ask me questions about stuff, or like, I don't know, shoot the shit, talk about memes, whatever you want to do. I hang out in the Discord pretty much all the time and chat about stuff there. So definitely check that out. I also announce when I stream on Twitter. Unfortunately, I don't have great brand loyalty, so my Twitter is Code with Anthony instead of Anthony Writes Code. But I usually announce the stream 60 to 80 minutes before I do that. I'll usually announce it earlier than that on Discord, so you can better plan your days and stuff. Also, I have a schedule, so I almost always stream on Saturdays at 1 p.m. Pacific time, which will be tomorrow. So if you want to catch another stream, I'll be streaming tomorrow. Not sure what I'm going to work on yet, but I'll figure something out. Probably Pi upgrade, because I have some stuff that I want to finish. In fact, I planned to do that today, but clearly that didn't happen. I also stream some weekdays at 6 p.m. Pacific, which is the time that I streamed today, so if you caught this stream, then you know that already. But yeah, I think that wraps up the spiel, and this will be up on YouTube usually within a couple hours, if not by tomorrow. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and have a good one. Let's